A very good morning to I am Shiksha Aurora. This is TV47 and you are watching Morning Cafe, where right now, right here, we are discussing relationships. And remember, if you would like to be a part of our show, if you would absolutely like to be a part of what we talk about, if you want to interact with us, the hashtag is Morning Cafe. Remember, at TV47KE on Facebook and on Instagram, as well as at TV47 News on X. Now let's get started. With me on my couch, I have Beatrice Muraguri, a counselor. Thank you so much for being on my hot seat.
Welcome. I'm so happy to be here this morning.
You look good. I love the outfit. I love the makeup. Looking great.
Thank you for that positive feedback.
I think that's what we need every morning, right?
Yeah.
It's very important.
We need to set the mood for the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Despite the cold outside. Yeah, we need this. Positive affirmations only. And thank you so much, Richard Ziwa Zimbalist. I love that name.
Thank you. I got it right.
My seat.
It's a joy to be here.
Yeah.
And I like your style.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I love the validation. I love the affirmations. It's a great Wednesday. Right. So we're going to be starting off by discussing what it means by giving too much in a relationship. I feel like relationships in this day and age, it's always give and take, right? We believe in equality. We believe in being equal in every sense, you know, not just the whole male-female thing, balance that we have in terms of payment, in terms of finances, in terms of, you know, your emotional attachment, in terms of how much you're giving to your partner, right? So I'll start with you, Beatrice. What do you think it means to be giving too much in a relationship, and how much is too much?
Okay, that's a very good question, Shiksha. To begin with, being in a relationship is such a therapeutic thing.
Absolutely.
And it's a situation whereby you need to feel that you're being appreciated. So what does it mean to feel that I'm giving too much, or I've gone beyond giving too much? I may want to look at from a psychological point of view, and I may also want to look at in two different ways.
Right.
The aspect of too much can be dictated by two things.
Okay.
Number one, which stage are you in this relationship? Because the kind of the input you give when you're starting a relationship is not the same input investment that you'll be putting along the way to sustain the relationship. Then number two, what kind of personalities do you have in this relationship? There are some of them who feel that, who are so emotionally attached. For them to feel that they are being appreciated in this relationship, they want to feel extremely connected, while maybe the other party is the opposite. At what point do you feel that you are giving too much? Number one, if you feel that your emotions are being manipulated, you may be giving too much. Then number two, if you feel that at some point you're not feeling appreciated. Right. And I would like to say something about appreciation here. When you are getting into this relationship, what were your expectations? Because sometimes in these relationships, you feel unappreciated depending on the level of expectation that you had in the beginning. If you experience unmet expectations in terms of emotions, maybe in terms of the way you are appreciated, the way you are taken in that relationship, again, you may feel that I am giving too much. And then finally, from my end, as far as this is concerned, I may also want to say this. There are some people who are wired to give, to always go beyond the mark, to always go beyond the mark. And this one comes with socialization. If you are this kind of a person that even in the place of work, you are the to-go-to person, you have the biggest shoulder for people to cry on, you might also find in a relationship, the other party has decided to step down depending on your level of, again, domination in terms of reaching out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like everyone has a different love language.
Yeah.
Some people, their love language is giving. Like, not just in terms of gifts, but also in terms of affection, in terms of love, in terms of care, all these different things that come into play when your act of, your love language is the act of giving. So what about you, Richard? What do you think for you personally, also not just as a counselor, but as a man, what would you say for you too much is? Like, if you personally feel like you're giving, you're investing constantly constantly, you're pouring into this relationship. When do you know that you're overdoing it? And, maybe now you should kind of take a step back and also just kind of realize that I need to balance a little bit.
Thank you, Aurora. I think one of the greatest experiences any one of us can ever experience in life is to be in love with people. Genuinely love and care for people or add value to people.
Yes.
It is natural if you come to your authentic self that when you give to people, it is reciprocated back. The law of reciprocity is at work there. That I like the way we used to say it in physics. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Absolutely.
So if you're in a relationship and there's no reciprocity, it could be very depleting. And that would be very frustrating at whatever level of relationship you're in, whether it's a parent to child relationship, whether it's a spouse to spousal relationship, whether it's a friend, it could be very depleting. But there's such a place, a healthy place in any relationship if you identify the people that you're engaged with and love them from their point of view, not from your point of view.
Right.
It will never be depleting because you're responding to a need that will be reciprocated with gratitude. And I've seen in my own life, with my own relationship with my wife, I love gifts. She loves gifts. It's never a boring day in life when I'm surprised with a gift or she surprises me with a gift. Let me give a case in point. I was having some guests in Karen and they were flying back. And they had traveled a long day. So for some reason, I thought of connecting back home. We had the meeting and it would take me a little longer by getting trapped in traffic. So I opted and I told her, I'd rather stay in Karen and do the meeting on Zoom than to waste 2 hours in traffic and then get home hurriedly to get into the meeting. It will not work for me. But the meeting stretched a little longer. Then coming back, I happened to have a young man who had just stood in for as a best couple. So I told him, please, when you're getting late, it's wisdom to call your spouse and tell her, sweetheart, I'm going to be late. But it's not enough to say, sweetheart, I'm going to be late. Let me show you how you do it.
Okay.
You drive to the nearest Java or CJ's and look for a good cake.
Yeah.
And you take it home with you. Don't tell her. Then we look for a bouquet of flowers. So you accompany that cake with flowers. There is no woman who will not forgive you as soon as you get home.
Men like you exist for real in this day and age. Wow. I mean, your wife is a lucky woman. I mean, it's amazing though that you mentioned that because I feel like especially the younger generation, right? My generation, the Gen Zs. The thing that everybody believes is that flowers really ni maua tu. Like it's just flowers, but the thought behind it, I personally think,
it does.
As you've said, rightly said, is what matters.
It does.
Is what counts. So what about you, Beatrice? When you have also experienced this in your career where somebody has probably come to you and told you that I'm drained because my relationship, it's always just give, and there's nothing I'm getting out of it. So in such a situation, in such a case, what would you tell this person, male or female, of how to improve the relationship? Would you just say that, pack up and leave? Or would you say that maybe work towards trying to see if they will improve in a way or trying to get a different kind of reaction out of them? So what would you say is the way forward in such situations where people are tired, people are exhausted, the relationship is now draining, you don't feel appreciated, you don't feel that love and affection? So what would you say to such a person?
Before I respond to that, I'm still recovering from what you said.
Beatrice is in disbelief. You're taken aback,
I know
right?
some of our viewers are asking, where did we go wrong?
It's doable.
But our viewer this morning, it's important to know that every relationship has got its own guidelines. They have got their own constitution and their love language. So when somebody comes or a client comes stating, and of course they have come, stating that they have gone, they're feeling like, actually they present it as a burnout. Relationship burnout. I feel Beatrice, okay, they call me Muraguri. Muraguri, I feel that like I am investing in a desert. You get? When you invest in a desert, basically in a desert you get you may get something or nothing at all. But first of all, as a counselor, I would like to the client to operationalize what is this burnout about? What is this too much giving? What amounts to too much giving?
Absolutely.
Because Zibalist, as a client, may come saying, you know, I am the one who economically supports this relationship.
Yes.
That is one way of giving. I'm the only one who actually provides or gives a lot in terms of gifts and emotions in the relationship. I want to operationalize, and then also come to, I want to cut across all the phases of life,
Right.
so that I can also accommodate Gen Zs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody comes here and feels that I feel that in terms of raising the kids, I am doing my own. I am correcting kids on my own. That's again one way of giving too much, while you feel that the other party is not supporting. I feel that I am the only one. Now this is now for the women. When he, you know, he puts some, you know, he wears some nice clothes. I'm always the person who is appreciating him. When, okay, I'm this person who is always clapping for this guy, or from the woman point of view. But even when I wear something so smart, and I know that I'm very, very smart, this guy will never, never, never appreciate me.
Or he'll never say you look good.
Yeah.
Compliments.
And when I ask, do I look smart? I'm like, the person is like, yeah, you look okay.
You look okay.
Yeah, you look okay. Yeah, you look okay. Yeah, it's the same dress that you had worn the other day. But you keep on changing wardrobe. But I didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
I am still operationalizing burnout.
Right.
And then there's another element of burnout. And allow me to use Kiswahili language.
Yes.
Mimi ndio tu humpost, hani postingi.
Yes.
You get, There's somebody who feels that
Just because you're not posting them, they don't love you.
yeah, I'm just the one who does the posting. That's just the one who is putting my guy or my girl on the billboard. He never does that.
Right.
So that's another way of feeling that I'm giving too much. So I normally tell the client, first of all, can you first of all take a stock of this burnout? Yeah, take a stock, just like the way in business, so that you can know whether you are making a profit or loss. You have to take stock of this relationship and identify this burnout. Where can I put a boundary?
Absolutely.
Because in this relationship, they are normally sustained by boundaries. And you can never come up with a boundary if you don't know the vision of this relationship.
Yes.
Where are you going?
Long
And
term.
why did you get in this relationship in the first place? That is two questions that will guide you in terms of coming up with boundaries.
Okay.
Then number two, from the thought system, I would also like to know, there's something we call distortion in terms of thinking.
Distortion of reality.
Of reality.
Yes.
Because some of us may expect too much to a point that we are going beyond the reality mark. Okay? Can you first of all track your thoughts in terms of this burnout? Can you track your thoughts and understand?
In terms of expectation.
In terms of expectation. If let me give an example. If I am expected to be hugged each and every day, in the evening or in the morning.
And you should.
Yeah. Don't forget. Every relationship has got its own constitution and their own guidelines on how they want their relationship to stay. There are some of them who don't even know the language of hugs.
Right.
But hugging is a nice thing. You connect. So you expect a lot of hugging. And then when you get to this relationship, it doesn't show up.
Yeah.
And then when you try to extend this gesture of hugging, it is received with a lot of, hostility, and you're like, hii ni mambo gani unafanya jameni mama nani, you feel like you are being rejected. Yeah. So you understand whether is it what I'm seeing or the way I'm interpreting.
Right.
Yeah. At that point I can interpret as an individual, depending on who I am. Maybe he's refusing to hug me because the love is no longer there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's refusing to hug me because there is a serious competitor out there who is giving beyond a hug. So you are going beyond the reality.
Third party.
Third party. So if you understand and come up with boundaries,
Okay.
it really helps. Then number 2, success and failure of any relationship or marriage depends on both individuals. It is the degree that varies.
Okay.
So as I move on in this relationship,
Yes.
any success of this relationship, I've contributed this much.
Yeah.
If the relationship is not doing well, I must have contributed to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I normally request the client to sit down and see, in this element of accusation that you're coming up with,
Right.
is it possible to see how did this start and what is your contribution in this?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like those are some very valid points because sometimes, as she said, this distortion of reality, it's very, very obvious. It happens in a lot of relationships. It's common as well. And I feel like sometimes you have such high expectations from your partner that you don't give them the grace. And I guess it also leads to fatigue from your partner's side because they're like, no matter what I do, there's no appreciation, right? He or she always wants more. So, Richard, in such a situation where you feel like your partner is expecting too much, more than you can offer, how do you tackle such a situation?
Aurora, I like one word you just used there.
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah.
Be graceful to each other. Be kind to each other. Keep hope alive. Hope does not disappoint. There's a place in life that when you're in love or you're genuinely interested in someone and you bring the authentic version of yourself in that relationship, there's a sense with which you will not be necessarily drilling from a dry well, because if you're drilling from a dry well, the best you can get is gravel and sand.
Yes.
But if there's a commitment to foster and nurture a healthy, vibrant relationship between those two individuals, you strike water in that well. And when you do, I think we all struggle with balance in every relationship. There's a place where you need to, like rightfully Beatrice has said, there's some sense of exaggerated expectation.
Yes.
Because what women do by talking about it, we do in silence. You might want to require certain conduct and behavior patterns from your spouse, especially the man. I speak for the men. And I'm not breaking through conversation about it, but I'm thinking about it. Except you're talking about it, I'm not talking about it. But I'm actually on the same page, except my language as a man is different from the way you're communicating it.
Yes.
It would feel like I'm being passive about it, but actually, if I had an opportunity and you give me grace, you'd be shocked that actually we're on the same scale, same pace, except that I come out differently. So in every relationship, I say be graceful to each other, be kind towards one another, and be that hopeless romantic fellow. Hope does not disappoint. There will always be a path of light that you can follow, and that light will always shine on the course you want to trade with the person. And if you're graceful, you can't work with someone if you do not agree with each other. You need to be agreeable with where you're going.
Yeah.
But lower your expectation. Sometimes we come with exaggerated expectations. But if you scale down your expectations and work on yourself and give more to the relationship, what you give will be reciprocated back. But you can't give what you don't have. There are some things that you're looking for to be done by your spouse. Are you doing them?
Right.
If you do them, quite likely, it will be reciprocated back.
Okay.
If you want him to say, hey, sweetheart, you're looking nice. Say 30-second rule. Do you say it? Hey, I like your shoe. A good man, the best that you will ever have is a belt and a shoe. But do you even notice his shoe or his belt?
No.
No.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of boldness to wear a pink shirt. But I'm shocked. The first thing you say, I like your pink shirt.
Yeah.
You notice the pink shirt?
Yeah.
Because there's a way to feminize every color. So it takes a lot of courage to do so. So I think there's a need to be graceful towards one another. so that you might find that soul-saturated experience that brings you peace and joy in your relationship. Let me also say this. Past behaviors and conducts have a way they inform us of what is going to be the future conduct of that individual.
Okay.
Some of the things we keep on doing now, predictably, it's because what was informed of us in our growing up. If you've not seen a behavior pattern modeled out for you, it's hard to enact it. It doesn't matter which relationship you're involved
Absolutely.
in. And it will be very frustrating to require and demand certain things. And this young lady or this gentleman has no clue what you're talking about. You'll be frustrating yourself in your relationship. Also take time to observe, where is he coming from? Where is she coming from? When you got involved in the relationship, were you blindly in love with this particular individual?
Then what has changed?
What has changed over time? Could it be possible that you could consider the need to normalize therapy and counseling so that you can be helped? Because with therapy and counseling, you will always find help. Reach out for help.
Okay.
Reach out for help, yeah.
I'm absolutely loving this because I feel like I'm in therapy. And it's making me feel so good because, I mean, speaking to two counselors on one seat, absolutely loving it. Now, remember, you can also be a part of this conversation. If you've had any difficulties in your relationship where you feel like you're constantly giving and you're not getting anything out of it and it's gotten too much effort, so let us know. You can call in live on 0795 045 864. Once again, call in live if you want to be a part of this conversation on 0795 045 864. The number is on your screens. And currently, as we speak, we do have a caller. So let's listen in.
Hi.
Stacey.
My name is Stacy.
Yes.
I was just concerned, I give my all, in terms of time, in terms of communication. I'm the first person to call. I'm the first person to text. I'm the first person to even request for when can we meet. So I just wanted to how can you remove yourself in such a situation? Because at the end of the day, you love this person, but, you just want to be there. But this person is not there for you. He's not showing the willingness.
Okay. And those are Stacey's concerns. Maybe Beatrice can take that.
I feel her. It's very fatiguing to find that you are just investing emotions and everything to do with you to that other party, and then they are not reciprocating, as Zibali said. Maybe what I would ask off air later on is when did it start? Because when we are able to answer when did it start and how did it start, we'll be able to be navigating towards the right direction.
Okay.
In every relationship, in the beginning of every relationship, how we started determines how maybe along the way the direction the relationship is going to take. Maybe because of our personalities, we assume roles subconsciously as we start this relationship. Some of us are gifted nurturers. So you show up in that relationship without your knowledge. You position yourself as a parent.
Right.
Subconsciously, you may position yourself as a parent. So what does a parent do? A parent clap for the child all the time.
Yes.
A parent appreciate this child even when things are not working. A parent ensure that everything is working for this child. So when we start the relationship, which role did we assume? Number two, when you are starting a relationship, subconsciously again, you can find yourself assuming the role of a sponsor.
Yes.
You are reaching up in terms of in terms of finances. So if you understand how it started, and when it started, then we'll be able to assist.
Okay.
Okay.
Stacey, I don't know if Stacey can hear me. Maybe if you'd be comfortable to answer. Okay, Stacey has gone. But yes, I feel like that's a great way to probably figure out what next. When did it start? Right? How did it start? In the beginning of the relationship, were things different? Yeah.
Before and after. At what point did Stacey? Yeah?
Yes, Stacey.
Yeah, Stacey, at what point did you start noticing this element of, I'm giving too much?
Okay.
When people are quoting, by the way, the level of dopamine is normally so high, such that any red flag, we tend to ignore it. In fact, any red flag, we normally baptize it. Oh, that's just a bad day. I know when we get into marriage, things are going to change. Our viewer this morning, I would like to say one thing. That thing that you ignore in a relationship, in the name of those baptized titles, is what comes to eat up the marriage later.
Yeah.
The red flags.
Yeah.
So when people we would advise the ones who are in a relationship right now, who are still courting and they are not yet into marriage,
Okay.
please pay attention to those red flags.
Before taking the next step.
Before taking the next step. And I know we become so emotional at this level of courtship. As I said, when you are in love, there's a lot of release of dopamine. Yeah, and and that's why every time, even you've not even checked, when you hear the beep of a message that just came, you just realize or just expect or even assume that that's my love who is texting me.
Excited.
And every time you see, there is a dopamine that is released.
Yes.
Every time you meet and you have that conversation, you are connecting. When dopamine is at its highest level, people tend to become more emotional than rational.
Absolutely.
So when people are dating, it's very, very important to ensure that they are engaging both reasoning and emotions. Because if you allow the emotions just to carry the day, at the point whereby you will be willing to engage the reasoning, sometimes it could be too late.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. And we also have more people who are calling in. And now we have a gentleman who has called in. Remember, you can also be a part of this conversation. You can call live on 0795045864 if there's a question that you would like to ask regarding our topic. Emmanuel, hello, how are you? Emmanuel from Makadara.
Yes, how are
may we
you
help
in the studio?
Yes, Emmanuel, talk to us.
Yes, my name is Emmanuel. There is a lady there ameongea kitu ya maana sana about you get to a woman amevaa dress fulani na you don't appreciate. I was like that sometimes because nilikuwa nimekaa kwa relationship mpaka ikafikia bahali benye I'm too comfortable. I know this is my woman. I know I love her. I don't need to tell her some things all the time. And I realized I was really, really, really losing, yeah? Because this lady was getting somehow detached from me, yeah? Ikakuja kugundua, there was a time akanitrick. He tricked me actually, yeah? My messages zenye tulikuwa tunaongea kwa WhatsApp kitambo. So aka screenshot, itakuwa ni like it's the other man who is telling us those things. And those times I was really telling her good things. I was like telling her, I love you, you are beautiful every time. I'm always there for you. So alikuwa na screenshot ni kama it is another person alafu anaficha hiyo jina yangu. Na vitu za kitambo zaidi. So this lady was reminding me to behave like I used to behave some times back. And I'm really seeing that the lady has spoken there, that I was not giving my woman assurance. I was not telling my woman things she wants to hear from me. I was not being the same person I used to be. And I was really, really losing. Baadaye nikagundua kumbe is a text alituma na nikaona it is the same conversation you were talking with her sometimes back, na nikagundua tukaketi chini tukaongea hiyo mambo Otherwise nashukuru hapo studio kipindi ni moto. I really like TV47 na nawafuatilia vipindi zenu sana.
All right, thank you so much for that, Emmanuel. Maybe you can take that, Richard. What would you say to Emmanuel regarding his concerns?
Emmanuel, thank you for your vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I like that you use your own experience as a learning opportunity for us and those who are watching. I think yours was more of a complementary experience. So I would rather say that to all those who are listening and watching in,
Yes.
he was very valid. He admitted that he was once like that.
Okay.
There's a way out of a bad behavior pattern. You can learn a new behavior.
Right.
You can.
It's easy to break that pattern.
Yes, you can break out of it.
Yeah.
And find a way you can model a way of lifestyle that complements and brings strength in your relationship.
Okay.
I know for a fact, Aurora, just like Beatrice would validate this, that men were not like women.
Okay.
Growing up as a child, we grew up seeing our friends who are ladies, young girls, they're taught and nurtured how to foster a relationship.
Right.
I don't know whether you play those games of chamama, chababa.
Yes.
They're naturally working out relationship and rehearsing life as it would be.
And roles.
And roles as it would be.
Okay.
Men, we don't do that. So we do games and we do very well. And even when we approach relationship on a natural standpoint, it comes out that we are playing games with ladies, and which is, frankly speaking, is the most popular thread line in almost every relationship.
Yeah.
And it's worse now with the Generation Z. Guys are just players. So that one is a player. Why? He grew up playing games. So relationship, he approaches them on a different scale than a woman would approach them. So for Nancy who called in, was she Nancy? What?
The lady.
The lady?
Stacy.
Stacey.
I like her response, but the reality is this should not be an indictment that there's anything wrong with you.
Yes.
You're doing fun by yourself and continue being the authentic version of yourself. Keep on calling if you feel the need to call. Send the text messages, write the letters if you have to.
Yeah.
Because that's the authentic version of yourself. There's no loss about it. But it's very exhausting and depleting if you're doing it and you expect a certain semblance of appreciation, of reciprocity, of saying, I love you too, I care for you, I miss you. It's not coming.
Do you know, I actually saw something on the internet that said that you don't need to match someone's energy.
Yes.
Right? You keep being yourself.
Be
You
yourself.
Keep being the authentic person that you are, despite this person not
Reciprocating.
That one. Reciprocating the same energy.
Yeah.
I feel like people forget that, because it's like, if you do X to me, I'm going to do X to you. If you do XY, I will do XY. If you do XYZ, I'll do XYZ. So on and so forth. So people currently in this generation believe that you're only going to do the same amount as your partner.
No. Bring your 100% plus.
Yeah.
Every time in any relationship. Be rest assured, you attract after your kind.
Amazing. Amazing.
Well, if it's not in your kind,
Right.
they'll fizzle out, and
Okay.
the right people will match up with your energy. And believe me, life is enjoyable if you do you.
Absolutely. Right, we have another caller. Seems like people are enjoying this conversation. And we have Muganda from Mumias. Let's listen to what he has to say. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hey, Asha Talker. He's left us. Anyways, I'm sure he'll call back. So remember, if you would like to be a part of this conversation, do let us know. You can chime in on social media. Let me give you the socials. That is at TV47KE. That's on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Well, now X, it is known as at TV47 News. Let us know what your thoughts are about this particular topic. So I've got some feedback that's come in. So Language Connection Center says, those not ready to sacrifice for relationships must abstain. Okay. And we've got Nelson who says, asking someone's child if they love you, and then he's put a face palm. So I guess that's like constantly asking your man or your woman, do you love me, baby? Do you love me, honey? Are you sure you love me? Tell me how much you love me. So I guess that comes in with validation, because sometimes, you know, we keep seeking validation from our partners. And I feel like that actually is also exhausting, because as a partner, if your partner continuously wants you to say, I love you, I love you, I love you, you're just like, well, this person is not seeing, we're not eye to eye, or what exactly is going on? So interesting feedback right there. Another person who says, forcing yourself in a relationship which you can't come out from. So I guess what he means is like you're constantly forcing things and you know at the end of the day, this is going nowhere. So we've got a caller. Remember, 0795045864 is the number. We've got Cyrus who's just called in. Good morning, Cyrus. Hello, Cyrus, good morning. Cyrus, one Amanda, where has he gone? Please come back. Anyways, we'll get that caller later on as well. So, Richard.
Yep. Sorry.
I beg your pardon?
Yes.
You mentioned one thing that I think is very important. In relationships, it's give and take, right?
Yeah.
But when do you know when to stop?
Sorry about that. I think it's that place where you put boundaries. There's a place where you need to put healthy boundaries in your relationship. It's critical that if you're in any relationship and there's no sense to which you're being rewarded the same amount of energy that you're putting into on a constant. The litmus test is with you. There's a need to go back to do a self-evaluation of yourself. Why do you do the things that you do? Why do you look forward for the validation you're calling for in the other person? And in that sense, as in my case, I would say, I've been in love before with someone else and other people. And I noted I'm the one writing the Christmas cards. I'm the one sending the Easter cards. I'm the one looking out to visit. I'm the one doing ABC there. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is exhausting. I've never received a singular card from any of these fellows. I'm the one making the calls. I've never received a call. It is tiring. I said, no, I call it self-abuse. You doing it to yourself. Don't blame the other people.
Yeah.
Put a boundary to it and say, I'm not going that direction anymore. What do you do alternatively? Invest in a relationship that are pouring into you. Find it a natural experience that you build a tribe of your kind. There are people who look out for you. They're more excited to dine with you. They're more excited to visit with you. They're glad to find means with which they can create a life that is complementary with you.
Right.
And when you do, believe me, you'll forget that the other people did ever exist. They're the ones now who will be running after you. But you need to put some healthy boundaries.
Okay.
Don't hold any bitterness or animosity toward them, because there's something that happens. It's subtle, but it happens. Rejection has a way of reinforcing what is wrong about you than what is right about you.
Interesting.
So be sure not to absorb any sense of guilt and condemnation in yourself, because in the attempt to try and giving love to other people and it's not being given back to you, you tend to carry some guilt and rejection and say, maybe there's something wrong with me. No. There's nothing wrong with you. Absolutely nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
There's everything fun about you. Don't allow their lack of stimulus and response toward you limit you to do the natural thing you would naturally do. If you're the kind who calls, keep calling people.
Yeah.
Keep calling friends. If you feel getting toxic, get out of it.
Eventually, there'll be somebody who will match your energy.
There will.
Just keep being yourself. That's what
Be
you're
yourself.
trying to say. Which is amazing, Richard. I've got another message in, and this is on WhatsApp. By the way, if you would like to interact with us on WhatsApp, the number is 0793 267 279. Once again, 0793 267 279. Send us a message and tell us your thoughts on about our topic today, which is how much is too much in a relationship? How much effort is too much in a relationship? So this is a message from Gidua Koinewa Kamasharia, who says, do we still have original love nowadays? Beatrice, thoughts? I feel like Richard is going to give us the answer that we already know. he's going to say, yes, there is. True love exists. Look at myself and my wife. But you tell me, Beatrice, I mean, you have experience, a vast experience in dealing with such people who are, they've lost hope in love because of the countless times that they've gone through heartbreak. So what would you actually tell somebody who actually is asking such a question, which is a very valid question, by the way. Does love exist nowadays?
The term original, I'm just, from my own thinking,
Yes.
I'm just thinking that it is the first love, the abuju-buju stage.
Yeah, honeymoon phase.
Yeah,
That's what
honeymoon
they call
phase,
it.
It can exist, but you have to come up with the element of sustainability.
Yes.
What are these elements of sustainability?
Yeah.
For you to come up with the element of sustainability in a relationship, we have to look at the foundation of this relationship.
Okay.
Number one, when you got into this relationship, was it friendship-based or
Romantic.
love at the first sight?
Yeah.
And by those two foundations can work, but you have each and every foundation, you have to work for it.
Yes.
So you start with original love, okay? Then along the way, by communicating your expectations in this relationship,
Yeah.
you start cultivating friendship. Shiksha, what sustains marriage? Okay, I am not 70, but I've interacted. But I've interacted with people from across ages. What sustains marriage in the late 40s, 50s, and even 70s is not the original love. It's the friendship that you have built along the way.
Interesting. That's very true, actually, Beatrice. And I'm going to interject before we lose our caller, because that has happened the last 2 times.
Yeah.
I feel like if we keep them waiting, they just decide, sorry, I don't have the time for this. So we have a caller from Limuru. Let's get away immediately. And let's listen to what he has to say. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you.
What's your name?
My name is Roger Chalo.
Okay, talk to us.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to wish to contribute about the same. I was reading and relation. I just found myself contributing so much. You know, for every moment, I'm in a pigger, and yeah, I'm just doing everything for the lady, and at some time, nikaja kukua not really contributing anymore. Yeah, so it happened that way.
Okay, interesting. So, Richard, maybe you could be the one to answer that. Did you get that clearly?
I didn't get that.
didn't get
clearly.
Neither did I.
I really missed it out.
Me too.
I really apologize for that.
So, from what I understand from my director, he said that he is doing everything. Once again, the opposite of Stacy, basically. Was the opposite of Stacy? Because Stacy also said the same.
Stacy said she's done all there is to
Do. Right.
no response.
There's no reciprocation.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what he said, but I think it's along the same lines of pouring too much into an empty cup, and, you know, just being fatigued, getting to that level where you're just exhausted, emotionally burnt out.
When you're drilling in a dry well, don't expect water. You'll only get gravel and sand. Please move on and say next.
Thank you,
don't
next.
beat yourself about it.
Right.
Get the courage to say next. Frankly speaking,
Yeah.
true love does exist. I'm sorry to burst the bubble, but it does exist. And
Absolutely.
plenty of it. And it's within you.
Yeah.
And the only way to work it out is with the people that you are with on a constant. Don't look too far to look for it. It's
Yeah.
within you. And once you have it within you, you'll be able to spread it across everywhere you go, and you'll attract it to look out for you. Because a healthy, healed you in any relationship will always give birth to vibrant, loving emotion and stimulus to other people. I've seen it work. Yesterday, there's something that I did. I'd just come from a barrio. My wife was in Bakken, had a planning meeting. There's a meeting we're planning out for, which is very huge, and we needed to put a few things together. So I told her, you go that side, I go this side.
Yeah.
So this particular moment, she sent me a photo of a friend I worked with back in Uganda 25 years ago. And said, guess who I have met here? They've never met, never seen each other.
Okay.
So she called her out by name and she said, do you know who I am? I'm like, no, I don't. I've not met you. Say, your husband never mentioned a name like this in International AIDS Week? I'm like, yeah, I am the one. So like, oh my God. So I remember the conversation we used to have with that lady when we were in office. We talk about love and talk about the idyllic experience of what I will do with my wife. Let me tell you, the things I used to talk about are the things I do. Not that I really watch them on TV or with anyone. My dad never kissed his wife. My dad never said, I love you to be his wife. But there are things he never, ever, ever did as a traditional cultural man.
So it's not like you grew up into that environment.
No, I never did.
Okay.
Then I come into this experience, I decided to write my own script.
I love that.
And my own script is predictable. It's on a constant, I'm going to work my way to love and genuinely care for my wife and my children and anyone who comes within my space.
Richard, are you sure there's not many of you? We need to clone him. Genuinely.
They're there. There are plenty of them. We just need to look in the right place.
Need to find them,
yes.
the right place.
So I come home, I drive in, my wife is driving behind me, we enter the house, our kids run to say hi to us and we enter the house.
Yeah.
As soon as we enter, so my wife was standing in the bedroom door. So I walk in to hug her. So when I hug her, I kiss her, and unknown to me, my daughter is behind the door. And I say, oops, you're killing me. She's 6 years old. Then my son, what are you doing, Dad? I'm like, I'm just hugging my wife.
No.
Say, oops, give us a break. I told her, the more reason I would kiss you and hug you.
Okay.
Because you give these children a predictable image of what marriage is like when they grow up.
Yeah. They have an example.
If you don't demonstrate it for children, they will not know what to work with.
Right.
This that you're doing becomes natural and gives them an opportunity to look out for it because it's out there. But if you have plenty of other people who do it, you'll be shocked. People like, I didn't get his name, they will have the courage to know I can opt out of this because there's someone out there who has exactly what I'm looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So remember, you can also be a part of this conversation. The number to call is 0795 045 864. That's if you want to call in and be a part of this conversation. If you want to ask any questions to our counselors in-house, remember, you can be in touch with us on that particular number. Do call us. Let us know. Have you ever experienced a case in your life where you feel like you're pouring in too much, you are giving too much to your partner and you're not getting anything out of it? And the question today lies, how much is too much? Now, Beatrice, you know, I feel like as a woman sometimes you are delusional. There's a word that we call it these days, delulu. Yeah, we are very delulu because you will see these red flags and you will see them continuously. Most of the times, I feel like men will be the first ones to walk out if they feel like something is not right, right? They lose their patience, they walk out. But women, on the other hand, will continue to stay and they will try their level best. And in their minds, they think that their partner is obsessed and in love with them. But in reality, the partner has checked out a long time ago, but you're just in there because you have hope. You feel like something could potentially work. So in such scenarios, in such situations, when women come to you and tell you, you know, they're giving excuses for the man. They're saying things like, yeah, but you know, he used to love me so much. Maybe he's just not feeling it right now. Things might change for the better. The future is still beautiful. I'm still hopeful.
False optimism.
Yeah, exactly. What would you tell someone like that who's in a relationship where the man has checked out? I'm specifically talking for women because I do know that we are very hopeful. We are hopeless romantics and we're always so hopeful that the man will come around.
Okay, thank you. Women are known to hold things together.
Yeah.
And have you ever asked yourself this question? Why do you think some women will go to very hardy men and you least expected from them? Because there is something in them that governs the way, that governs their changing, the element of change.
Right.
So I'm getting into Richard's life. A, B, C, D for Richard is wow. By the way, in fact, this is how they say, yeah? Yeah, Manzi, he's so good in this. Now, let me use what you've given us now on this seat. He loves giving. Oh my God, he surprised me with flowers. But, the list of from we have like 5 elements that are areas of improvement. But this lady will come into Richard's life with the element of willing to change. I know if I stay with him for some time, I am going to change him.
Yes.
My friend, you're just positioning yourself as, you just like, quote unquote, becoming a rehab. Yeah? To change behavior.
Okay.
Okay? So you come in as this person who is going to change. So if you come in a relationship with the element of changing this person, be assured, from day one, you'll be the one who will be the pilot of that relationship.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you'll be like the mentor. All right? Then, there are so many factors as to why a lady may continue being in that relationship. Number one, there are some of them who say, mimi niko kwa hii ndoa ama niko kwa hii relationship kwa sababu ya mtoto.
Kids.
Yeah? Because of my kids, Yeah. That is number one. Number two, oh my God, I am a member of Women's Guild. What will the elders say now that I'm going to step out?
What do people say?
What will people say? Okay? Now, I am Councillor Beatrice Moragori. I talk about marriage. If I step out of my marriage, what are they going to say? That I'm preaching water and taking wine at night? So there are so many factors. But the thing is, you are the one who is wearing that shoe. And then I also forgot something else that contribute to women staying. There's something we call a cycle of abuse in a relationship. Okay? And then when you talk about abuse, I know it's of different aspects.
Yeah. Not just physical.
Not just physical, even psychological. So what we are talking about here is psychological. You feel like you're giving too much and you're not being appreciated. And you're not being, there's no reciprocation. So we may be talking about psychological abuse here.
Yeah.
So in the event that you ever communicate, because when you're feeling this way, the question is, are you communicating that you are feeling this kind of burnout, or you are assuming Richard knows how I'm feeling? But then in these relationships, we tend to assume so much that you know how I am feeling. So you should even interpret my behavior and act accordingly.
Which is not true.
Which is not true.
Yes.
So you realize that this lady is doing so much, yes. And when she voiced, you know what? By the way, I've heard this morning, if you hear a lady telling you in a relationship, babe, we need to talk. So that day you're told you need to talk, and you paid attention, and she was able to voice out how she's feeling about this relationship.
She felt heard.
She felt, yeah. Did you listen? Did you listen to respond, or did you listen
blame,
to respond, to understand and respond?
Yeah.
And then also blaming.
Yes.
Okay?
I personally know that this is a problem that a lot of people have. It's like when you say that, okay, I'm feeling XYZ, the person reciprocates. Yeah, but that's because you did the other day. That's why I'm feeling this way. That's why you're feeling this way. So I'm actually glad that you mentioned that. And you know, as time is running out, we have to wrap up very shortly. I'd like to just take in your parting shot. Richard, what do you think you would like to tell somebody who is feeling this way, feeling hopeless about pouring too much in a relationship and not getting anything in return? Very quickly.
One, I would say, men, we hate the word, sweetheart, we need to talk. Run away. But that's it. One of the greatest experiences in life, I'll tell you, you receive what you give.
Yes.
And if your giving is not reciprocated, chances are the object of your affection might not be the one that you really want in your life.
It's not the right person.
It's time to check out.
Okay.
And don't feel guilt about it.
Okay.
In the circle of relationships that you keep surrounding yourself with, if there are behavioral patterns, like she says, cyclic trends that are predictably consistent with you, and you're constantly calling, why are you calling? You're constantly giving. Why are you giving? You should also have a kamkutano behind the scenes and find, why do you do the things that you do?
Right.
Are you trying to buy out the relationship with the gifts that you're giving? You're drowning this person in all these gifts and they do not love you.
Okay.
What is it that you're trying to cover up?
Okay.
Oh, okay, this calls that you keep on calling, that you're almost like a stalker. Why are you calling the person? Please give them a break.
Yes.
There's a place you need to retreat.
Have self-respect.
Have self-respect and introspect yourself. But also be in an accountable relationship where people can question you and you're not intimidated to be vulnerable around them. They can coach and mentor you to arrive to a good destination in a healthy, vibrant relationship. That could be helpful for you. That would be my parting shot.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate your insights and, of course, the fact that you're both counselors and the best people for this particular conversation. We'll do it again next week, hopefully. So once again, Asante Sana, that's Beatrice Muraguri and Richard Ziwa Zimbalist.
Yes, it is.
I got it right.
Thank you.
And remember, you've been watching The Morning Cafe. I am Shiksha Arora. This is TV47. If you would like to interact with us, the hashtag is Morning Cafe at TV47KE on Facebook and on Instagram, and at TV47 News on X. Coming up next, right after this break, we will be getting into Tasty Wednesday. We have Chef Lopao, and who's going to be, you know, giving us a tasty meal. I'm hungry. We've had a very deep, very rich conversation, very heavy, and it's time to get a bit light and to fill our stomachs. So that's going to be happening later on.